Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome to another episode of Crime Centric. This being a show where I talk about crime dramas that I watch. For today's episode, I'm going to talk about the latest episode of Ray Donovan. A great episode, but man, oh man, is it just all over the board a crazy episode. Because a lot of episodes you see Ray kind of spit drunk. And it's so interesting to have this whole like Marilyn Monroe element to the episode. It's like, I'm not quite getting it, but every time throughout the episode he's seen references to Marilyn Monroe. There's her star, which he pays that guy to clean up. Then he goes back to his like that little other apartment place and he sees a picture of her. And then George is later on referencing Marilyn Monroe and that whole thing. Which I'm wondering, is that a fact? That whole like, oh, it took her like 60 takes to get that one line right. It was like a few words or something like that. I thought that was that's kind of interesting. I wonder, is that like, I mean, he is kind of like the movie trivia dude, so I can only assume there was some validity to that. But nevertheless, it's just from top to bottom, this episode is crazy because it is legitimately the epitome of Ray Donovan in the sense of like, stuff is bad, things are happening all over the place. That this show is literally the definition of domino effect. Every season, it's like when you think things are bad, things get much worse. And even when you think things are kind of okay, things are kind of bad, but they're kind of going okay, and it's like, oh, we're going straight down. Because for one, you had the whole Mickey and Daryl situation, dumping Frank's body. And I love that it's when you read too much into the scene, it's almost like a bonding moment. It's like, no. You move his shoulders. Yeah, that's it. No, let him go. He'll fall on his own. It's like, it's almost like a little like, oh, how to dispose of bodies, you know, in a very, very messed up like way. It's almost like father-son bonding. Obviously, Mickey is not too keen on the rewrite that Anton came up with, not liking the direction that Four Leaf is taking now as Mr. Lucky, and just looking at the trailer for it or whatever, like what little bit they filmed of it, and you have Mickey being like, what the fuck is it? What was that? And being super pissed about it because it's like, this is, once again, it's Mickey's story. It's like, I didn't ask for you to come in here and change up all this stuff. So, still not being okay with it. Him and Daryl get some hookers and drugs. That turns bad on multiple levels because you have Bridget coming back home, and then Bridget enters like, and she's like, wait, what? She sees Daryl like sniffing drugs off a naked lady's body. Then you have her go walk into her grandfather, his whole situation, and it's like, she's just like, why does everything terrible happen the moment I come back to this place? I guess because ultimately, because I remember Terry was telling Ray to tell the kids about the fact that he sold the house. I know Terry told Connor, but Ray was supposed to tell Bridget, but I don't think he ever did. So that's kind of why she went back there. So that's interesting. She just walked into her room and just closed the door. Didn't say nothing because neither Daryl or Mickey realized she was there. But going back to what I'm talking about, the whole domino effect situation, it's a fact of the matter is Mickey, being as prideful as he is, won't like back down for nothing. It's like, no, he's stubborn to a damn fault. That the fact of the matter is he pushes Jay. He's like, hey, you make my movie the way I want it to be, or we're going to let the security tapes out about what you did. And then Jay calls a lawyer, which I don't know the lawyer's name, but he's popped up way in the past. He even says to himself like, yeah, I've had experience with the Donovans. So basically it's like, hey, what you want to do is you want to tell me the truth. I'm like, tell me where the body is. I was like, oh my God. Because as we know, that's where they also dumped Frank's body. And it's like, oh God, Mickey. It's literally what Ray says, stop doing anything. Because every time you do something, you make it worse. I'm sure the fact is he was getting high probably affected his decision making, but at the same time, it's like, I think he still would have done that anyway, but it's Mickey! Like, everything it's like, oh my God, it's like, dude, everything literally fell apart right there, dude. And then at the same time, you had the whole situation, like I said, Ray's kind of getting drunk, trying to deal with this whole situation. And it's so heartbreaking because he's even calling like Abby's voicemail just to hear her voice. He's like, I know you're not going to answer. But he's like, he had saw her and everything because he had that whole conversation with Terry. And Terry's like, nah, like, you can be mad all you want, but the fact of the matter is it was Abby's choice. And I kind of talked, I talked about something similar. There was an episode of Bull last week that was kind of similar to last week's episode of Ray Donovan. And it's like one of the situations like, I'm mad because I don't, it's Abby, dude. She's such a crucial part of this family, Like, it probably makes you wonder, like, half the stuff in this season never would have happened if Abby was still here, but it's a situation of it was her choice, and it's like no one else can make that choice. So it's a situation where I feel like I was a little harsher on her last episode, but it's like, it's just the whole like circumstances leave me conflicted. Not even just TV show wise, even in my own personal life. That situation, I wouldn't know how to handle it because I'd be so torn in that situation. Because it's like I understand Abby's side of things, even though I could never possibly understand that particular situation of being in pain, wanting to decide when, like in her metaphor, like when to pull the trigger yourself. And then also Ray's side of just being like, I love you so much. You're the rock to me and our kids. You're the rock to my entire family. You're my rock. You keep me stable. You keep me afloat. I don't want you to die, you know? I mean, especially on top of everything too, it's like Ray's kind of messed up a lot, but it's like I said, last season and what we saw, it was like, hey, pulling things together. It's like, oh, rest of our lives together. And it's just like now, like when everything's good, it all falls apart essentially. So, I mean, that's the biggest message across the entire season so far. And I'm sure that's going to be the end all be all for it. It's just like the fact that the Donovan family falling apart, just once again, domino effects, you know? And because of on top of all this stuff happening, you know, dealing with the whole Abby situation, he also there's also gossip celebrity channels and stuff talking about the fact is Ray and Natalie's pregnant and Ray is going to possibly might be the baby daddy, which stirs up trouble on its own because her ex-husband finds out about it, gets super pissed and everything, which the baby's not even Ray, which there's a thing happening between them, sure, but she was already pregnant anyway. But then it's like he basically, skipping to the end of the episode, he ended up killing her. Did not see that coming. Like I was like, oh man, he's outside. I was like, I saw the police in there. I was like, oh man, he killed her, didn't he? It's like, oh, Ray wasn't around because he was caught up in everything Sam needed him to do, which I'll get to in a second. But then I'm like, oh, it's just his body. I was like, oh man, she must have pushed him out the window. I was like, well, it's self-defense, but I'm sure that's a lot of unwanted attention Ray doesn't want. And then I was like, the moment he walks in, I was like, please tell me you're just gonna find her. And the moment the camera had it facing him, I was like, don't tell me she's lit on the bed like naked and her it looks like she's got bruising around her neck. I'm like, he killed her and then he killed himself. I was like, what? I wasn't expecting her to die. I was like, that took me by surprise. Like, it sucks. I was like, man, that's, especially under those circumstances too, because it's just, like I said, domino effects, dude. And it sucks, man. I'm curious to see what goes down. I mean, especially because Bridget had seen that, so she probably already had even more animosity towards Ray because of that respective situation. There's also the whole Smitty situation where his condition's getting worse, you know, and then she's looking into some doctors and stuff like that, which I glanced the page a little bit. I guess that's the main reason why she came back home, was related to this doctor or whatever that might be able to help Smitty. So it's not about coming back home because she needs to be home or wants to be home. It's like, no, she's trying to do this. Maybe Ray will end up finding out about that, and just it's going to turn into an ugly situation. You know that for sure. I mean, you even have Terry possibly leaving. I mean, it's already in his mindset because it's like, probably like after because he ends up bringing it up to Ray. He's like, Ray, you basically pushed everyone away. Bridget went to New York. Connor's thinking about joining the Marines, which that conversation still never probably happened between. Well, because Terry promised Connor not to say anything to Ray about it, so that's out there now too. And it's just like, he's like, not just me, you're pushing your entire family away just because it seems like everything's okay, but isn't like. Essentially, the breakdown, in the present day, it seemed like everything was okay. It's like, okay, we're getting back together after everything that happened with Abby, but it's like, no, basically the entire family broke to pieces, and then it's slowly but surely, they tried to glue the pieces back together, but they just didn't quite fit, because there's a huge chunk of it missing, and that's Abby, so it's hard to say whether or not this family will ever be the same again, and that might be what this season is all about too, the fact that the Donovan family will never be the same again. I'm also curious to see if they try and twist this around on Ray. It's like, oh, she's dead in your apartment. There's a dead guy outside. I mean, it probably won't be something that's immediately brought up. I doubt they might not dive too deeply into it, but it's still a situation of oh man, it doesn't look good for Ray, especially because he's had problems, being Ray being the fixer that he is, as well as just the fact that there's confrontation. There's possibly it could be it turned into some weird, I don't know, they could negatively spin it towards Ray. Like I said, I'm also curious to see what Bridget thinks about the whole situation. It's like I said, already has animosity about him because she saw that, because it's it hasn't it's not like Abby's been dead for a long time neither, so I'm sure that's a stinger. plus the way he acted. Probably, I wonder, is like that night Bridget called the police on him, was that the last time that her and Ray were in the same place? Like, did she go to New York immediately afterwards? Was it some time like, you know, where, like, I wonder when we get back to that. Like I said, because this episode, like last week's episode was all set in the past. This week's episode all set in the present and everything like that. So I brought this up last episode. I'm curious to see whether they kind of include, like, start cutting to the past or not as well again, or not, like, now that we're completely caught up, you know. Obviously, there's the whole situation with Sam in this episode, like I brought up earlier. Her son, or stepson, George, stole the box with the evidence. It turns out the person he gave it to was Vicky. Well, Vicky apparently tricked him into doing it. And then I'm also curious about what that whole scene is too. Like, the same guy that Ray asked to buy, to watch over, like, clean up Marilyn Monroe's Starlight. Like, what is the significance there? I don't, like, is it because Abby was kind of like his Marilyn Monroe or something like that? Like, I don't know. I don't know if they ever made comparisons or something like that. Was that like her favorite actress, or like did he constantly compare her to Marilyn Monroe in the beginning parts of the series? Not that I recall, but maybe. I don't know. Like, I just wonder what that whole comparison is. I mean, there was literally an episode called Shelley Duvall, and the way George was kind of talking about her in one episode, it almost kind of reflected the whole Ray and Abby situation present. Like, you know, it was kind of I guess it was meant to be like a reflection of Abby and Ray, the way George was talking about Shelley Duvall in that particular episode. The episode literally called Shelley Duvall. But I'm wondering what this whole Marilyn Monroe thing's about. I don't know. But it turns out it was Vicky who was hired by Landry. Is his name Daniel or is it David? The dude who knocked Natalie up. It was his baby. I mean, it's his, you know, which brings that whole situation around too. It's like, how's he going to feel about this? I mean, he might not have to worry about it for long because Ray ended up telling Sam, and now Sam knows. So it's like, we've seen what Sam does to people who screw her over. So I'm surprised Vicky's probably not going to be around for long. Neither is Landry after this. But I'm curious, especially considering the fact it's this whole Natalie situation. So not unless it ends up being a situation like it looks like she's dead. Like it looks like she's dead. But like from my recollection, it seemed like there was more of her in the trailer. I feel like we had there. I vaguely remember certain shots in the trailer that made me go, wait, I don't remember that scene happening yet. So is she dead? Was that stuff just added in for the trailer, or will there be more? Is she actually just like, I don't know, like her eyes were open and she wasn't moving, so I'm like, it looks like she's dead. So I don't know. So I think it's a situation of like, yeah, she is. There's no, that, not unless that's something that kind of messes with Ray's head, like the whole Abby situation for the rest of the season. I don't know. Then on the other side of things, you have, well, I almost skipped over it, was Terry kind of dealing with everything. Like, he tells Ray, like, okay, it's all about, well, Abby, it was her choice and everything. But even he's getting drunk. He's like, he sees that horse picture and he smashes it. Because I guess he knows on some level it had significance to, like, Abby. So, like, even he, because let's not forget, Terry still feels guilty. He acts like everything's okay, but it's because, you know, he loves his brother and he's trying to fix his family by telling the truth and everything. But it's like, he on levels, I'm sure, hates himself because of what happened. It was like, yes, it was Abby's choice, but he helped her out. Once again, he didn't actually say it, but I alluded to it because I always felt like there was always something there, that Terry always had a thing for Abby. And that, to me, that's what I said last week's episode, being like, oh yeah, it kind of seems like he's alluding to the fact that she's kind of like, you don't have to say anything, but it kind of seemed like, oh, there's something there, you know? So, I don't know, but I'm sure that's an element to it, but it's just like I said, she was important to the entire family, especially to Terry. So all that combined, it seems like he's having a hard time. So it's more reason why he wouldn't leave, because there's nothing for him here. His marriage is kind of in the toilet. His family's in the toilet. So it's kind of like, might as well just leave, go to New York, focus on Damon's training, which got to meet his dad this episode, which, you know, Terry was like, well, you weren't in his life that often. So yeah, you might be his dad and everything. Let me set it straight for you. You hurt him, I hurt you. Because basically he wants to go 50-50 on Damon when it comes to this whole situation. It's like, you weren't in his life for such a long time, and then the fact of the matter is he might be kind of getting a little famous. Now you want to come out in the woodwork. So definitely interested to see where that goes. Because there's a part of me that's halfway kept expecting someone to jump Terry, that like Damon's dad would attack him out of nowhere. I don't know. That's where my mind is, just because it just seemed like, I don't know. Like, I feel like that might be the direction they're definitely going to collide. It just seems like that's what they're doing. Hopefully, it's a situation of like, not everything works out. The Damon's dad's getting himself together and stuff like that, going to be in his son's life. And to me, it seems like the story might be like, oh, he starts off looking like that, and then the moment things start going well, him and Damon start getting closer, he will end up betraying Damon, and Damon will end up losing all hope in him. Like, Damon will put so much faith in, like, my dad's around, we're good, and then it's like it all fall apart because his dad does something to screw things up. Where my mind is, could completely not take that direction. I'm like I said, I'm interested to see where that goes. But the other side of this too was the whole Bunchy situation. Him and Duquesne working together. I was like, I actually kind of like their duo because it's almost like two idiots trying to do stuff. Like, first off, they try to go to Duquesne's friend, Freddie's place, and there, I guess it's like his ex-girlfriend and her son, but they're like, it's like, is that you, Duquesne? And it's like, what? It's like, and the boy's like, yeah, that's Duquesne. Like, it sounds like his voice, and his Uncle Duquesne, that's his voice in his shoes. And it's like, man, that sucks. It just seemed like they were a bunch of unlucky idiots. Even at a point where they're about to go to a different place, before like Duquesne can kick the door down, like, you have a bunch of be like, yo, check the door, make sure it's unlocked. Okay, they go in there, they find Freddie dead, and then all of a sudden you have Jake Busey running out in his underwear shooting the place up. He's a character name. He's like screaming out the fact that I'm Acid Man or something like that. And so shooting, I was like, okay. He's like, get out of here. I was like, okay, they're going to get out of here. And bam, Bunchy gets shot. I was like, come on. I was like, please don't. And they killed Duquesne. I was like, no, because I was so hoping that him and Bunchy were going to become like friends. Like, they're going to be like the new idiot duo or something like that, which I also appreciate the fact, because the moment Bunchy was like, no, don't worry about it, I got a mask. I was like, you're going to put on your luchador mask to rob somebody. Okay. And he, in fact, he did. And it's like, oh, I felt so bad, because after Duquesne got shot, he just pushed him out. It's like, oh, man, y'all were getting all buddy. He called you E.T. I was like, I thought this was like, friendship in the making. And it's like done the next day. It's like, oh my God, that sucks. And you have Terry and Bunchy. Dude, legitimately, everything fell apart in this episode. I don't think a single damn person walked away from this episode happy. Everything is shit for everybody. Everybody's life in this show sucks. It's like the moment gets a little, like I said at the beginning, gets a little bit better, then everything falls apart. It's like, holy crap. It's like, oh, everything is falling apart, dude. From a drama side of things, you're like, oh man, that's so interesting. It's like, oh, instead of them Duke boys, like, oh, there goes that. There go them Donovan boys again. So, oh, that just sucks all around, dude. Like I said, that bummed me out. Hell, that whole Natalie situation super bummed me out, because it's like, yeah, let's end this episode on a super downer. It's like, dude. Like I said, like a great episode, just completely crazy all across the board. I am so interested to see what goes on in the next episode. I mean, especially because Terry definitely ain't going to be leaving now because of this whole Bunchy situation. Because the only people who know about the whole money situation is Mickey, so he hasn't told neither Ray nor Terry, so probably gonna end up informing them. Like I said, all this on top of the fact that Ray's still dealing with the whole Abby situation, trying to fix his family back together situation. Now he's got this situation on top of it. It's just, and the whole Natalie situation as well. Just all of it stacked on top of each other. It's like, once again, the Donovans, Ray in particular, cannot catch a break. It's like one thing after another, endless cycle of falling dominoes. So. But really, that's all I want to talk about in this episode. Till the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day and goodbye.